So in this video we are going to be looking at animations and specifically the Lottie animation widget here. So you want to display an animation on a page, Lottie animations will allow you to do that. So we're just going to run briefly through how to use them. So on this particular app I have got a couple of components that have got Lottie animations in, and one is the win component. So if you win the game, this particular game is a Wordle clone called Vocabatron, and essentially if you win the game you bring up this component and you get a little animation with the confetti, and if you lose the game you get the sad man walking. So essentially, how do we use Lottie animations? So what we'll do, we'll just go into the settings page, we'll delete this stuff afterwards, but first off you need to drag in a Lottie animation widget. So we'll just drag one in there and we'll just sort of center it just so it looks a bit better, and just set it so it's in the middle of the page. Right, so and then down here on the animation, these are the options that we're interested in. You do get the usual options you get in most Flutterflow widgets with the padding, etc. But down here, this is where we describe what it is, where we're going to get it from, whether we want to automate loop and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go through that in a second. But the first thing you need an animation. So to get your animations, you go to LottieFiles.com. Now, I have got a completely free account. There is pricing options, but I've never paid for anything. So there's obviously a free option that is not advertised on there, but I'm not paying for this. So create your account. I'm obviously already logged in. I'll go to my dashboard, and then you obviously can have a blank dashboard if it's something you haven't used before. And then I've got a couple here, just the ones I've used on this app basically. So if you go create animation, which is your option you got in the top right hand corner there, and then down here I've only really ever used the ones that are included here. You can make animations with your text and layers and all that sort of stuff, but I just sort of use these ready-made ones. So I mean, let's just go for see what we've got. Type in robot, and we've got a little robot wave in there, look, and sort of more AI type things. Let's go for somebody that's doing exercises. So we've dragged that in there. There are some options. To be honest, for the most part I've really just used them as they've come out of the animation that's been made from the free animations. You can obviously go into this and change properties unless you know specifically what you want your animation to do, or you can't find one that fits your requirements directly from the free animations. I suggest you kind of leave this stuff alone. Building these things I haven't looked into. I probably will do, and I'll do a video on it, but at the moment I have not done that. I'm sure there are other videos available on YouTube for you to be able to do that, but in the meantime I'm just using the sort of free animations that have come out. I've managed to find the ones that I need quite easily. So then if you just give your file a name, dancing robot, and we'll export that, and then we've got this in our project files. And what we're going to do then, we need to be able to get the link, so it is the network link we need here to put in our app. So if we go to the right hand side, you've got download and handoff. You click on the handoff option, and if you enable asset CDN, and then here you've got an asset link, but what we need is it to be a Lottie JSON file. The optimized versions are part of the paid plan, but if we just go Lottie JSON file, and then we copy the asset link, because it's the JSON file that we need for Flutterflow. We paste that in there, and we have our little dancing robot come in. So auto animate means it'll just start as soon as the page is loaded. It will be happening all the time. You can do it on conditions. So for instance, if you want to do your animation based on a variable, you can actually just create a page state variable, true or false, and then when it becomes true, i.e. a certain action becomes true, then it will start to animate rather than the auto animate option. And then whether you want it to loop, do it once or so. What we've got the loop, if we then boomerang it, which doesn't make any difference in this instance because we've got the thing going side to side, but they're your different options there, and you can change the size and your frame rate, although I've been inclined to leave them alone up to now and I haven't had any issues. So if we actually go back to our lose guy there, little sad guy walking, and we change that to boomerang, there you go. That's what boomerang does. It's like your boomerang when you're creating those images that you can create on your phone using live pictures on your iPhone, you know, the live photos. It's that kind of thing when you put the bounce on those. So that is how you essentially create a Lottie animation and import it. That in itself is actually dead easy. Going back to the Lottie dashboard again, and we've got the dancing robot there. So over here you got your file structure on the left hand side in the Lottie animations website. If you want to add projects, you can't. So my first project is the one that is essentially included. It does allow you to rename it. But if you want to create multiple projects, that is a paid option. So I think if you're just an individual developer and you can just lub all your things in here. Ultimately, if you're only using them as a CDN, just deliver the animation to your app. It really makes no difference what project they're in here, I don't suppose. To create a Lottie file from the available free ones is dead easy. Like I say, I've not really explored the option of doing them from scratch, although I'm going to. You get the Lottie.json file link after enabling the CDN, and you just add it into the path, the network path for your Lottie animation widget. You do have the other options as all images and media within Flutterflow. You've got the asset and the uploaded file. But to be honest, if you can get it delivered freely on a CDN, I'd be inclined to do that. Just deliver it on the network path there. Okay, so other things you can do. We've got one here. We've got another Lottie animation here. Now this one's actually in color. Interestingly, when it shows it here in the preview, it's actually just white. I don't know why, but it's actually a multicolored paint circle going around basically. And what this one is, this is no different. It's done exactly the same way. It's auto animated, it's on loop, and we're showing the Lottie.json file via the CDN from the network. So I've created it and done everything in exactly the same way. The only thing is this particular one is conditional visibility. So even though it's running in the background, basically what we're doing is when our user in this instance is creating an audio file, so this is text to audio, so type the text in there, create the audio, and obviously the AI takes a few seconds, you know, or minutes or whatever to create it. And then while the process is being undertaken, i.e. while the AI is working doing the conversion, we do get a Lottie animation, just the sort of equivalent of the blue circle of death, I suppose, just to say something's happening. So what will happen is we'll create our file and then we'll show the Lottie animation just doing the same thing whilst it's thinking, and then the Lottie animation will disappear when the file is complete, and it will show our download options there. So basically that's why we've got two options there that dictate when the Lottie animation is visible or not. So it's just an example. You can actually use these conditionally, show them conditionally, which would enable you to like show something like this, which is a loading indicator, I suppose, that we're using it for, so that the app is doing something and still actually thinking. So that's Lottie animations covered. Really is not, if you're using the standard ones that come in available for free, it's actually dead easy. You just drag and drop them, and there's loads of them. There's just type your search in there, and if we go for, I don't know, man walking, see if that one comes up that we've used before. We've got probably sad man walking here somewhere. Yeah, there we go, dejected man walking here. Is that him? So yeah, so that's how we do it. Create your animation in here. Grab the Lottie JSON out of. We want Lottie JSON. Grab your Lottie JSON from your dashboard there inside the project when you're sharing it, and then you put that in the animation source path, and then you've got the options there that we've just been through. The auto animations, quite a handy way to show a bit of interactivity with your app. They look quite good, and they're really easy to do. So hopefully, again, that was useful. Hopefully you get something out of that. And if you do, as always, please consider like, subscribe, and I will speak to you in the next video.